What's up, everybody? This is all right. I'm trying to do something that I've never done before. I am streaming on my phone. I've never streamed on my phone before, um, but I'm doing it on my phone. Why am I doing it on my phone, and why am I late? I'm doing it on my phone, and I'm late. So the patron stream. Welcome to the patron stream. This is the stream where the replay is only available on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Ron Placone. Why am I late today? I was supposed to do this at noon. Why am I late? I'm late because my I'm late because my internet's down. There is an internet outage in my area. So I was not, and I was kind of waiting for it on the stream. I was like, well, I'm trying to stream, so I was trying to fix it. I called my provider. Another reason why we need municipal broadband, y'all. Another reason why we need municipal broadband. My cable company basically just said, hey, there's an outage. It might not be good until 5. And I was like, well, that really freaking sucks. That just sucks, the big one. So here's the deal. My hotspot was not powerful enough for me to stream the way I typically do with my laptop and my webcam and stuff. But it is strong enough that I can stream just on my phone. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just streaming on my phone. I don't know if I can see the chat. I don't think I can. So I can't see the chat. Like, that's not a thing I have. I don't know how to access that. I don't really know how to access anything. But I can see that some of you are watching and some of you are liking, which I appreciate very much. So this is the stream where it goes out publicly, but then the replay is only available on Patreon. Okay, so the chat's not even on. My editor, Joe, just let me know that the chat's not even on. So there is no chat. I don't know how to remedy that on my phone. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. I'm just gonna, sorry there's no chat, but it's because I'm doing this on my phone for the first time. So I'm gonna respond directly to the patrons. I had to write their stuff down since my internet is down. But, whatever. Make and do with what we got. This sucks, but this will just be a one-time thing. Nina, what's up, Nina? I hope you are doing amazing. I hope everything is great up in Canada. And ironically enough, you're Canada. You brought up that universal broadband bill that Justin Trudeau proposed. And you were like, hey, I hope you cover this. And then you followed up and you were like, you did cover it, which I did. I covered it on Get Your News On with Ron. And yeah, that's a good thing. I'm excited for it. I'm glad Canada's doing it. It is a good thing. However, it's not without its concerns, which you pointed out in your later comment. Gene responded to you, and Gene said, that's awesome, Nina. Here in the U.S., we're not getting anything like that, which we're not. There was a universal broadband, high-speed internet for all bill. That was Bernie Sanders' bill. And that kind of went bye-bye with the hopes of Bernie Sanders' presidency. So that's where that is. And Nina, you follow up and you say, well, here's a concern. It's basically just giving all this money to the commercial providers. So you express some concerns like, well, what about the users? Are they going to make sure this stays affordable for people? Those are valid concerns. I hear you. And you kind of look at it, full lens. It's a good thing that this bill's out there because it's going to connect 98% of Canadians by 2026 to internet. That's awesome. By 2030, it should be 100%. So everyone will have access to affordable, hopefully affordable, high-speed internet. Getting back to that hopefully affordable part, the other side of this is they're just giving the money to these commercial providers. So it's sort of, in some ways, it's definitely a corporate handout. So there's two sides to it. In principle, it's definitely a good thing. In execution, it's probably not the most ideal situation because it would be way better if it was just a situation where they had straight up municipal broadband. And I wish there was a way I could hear. Let me see if there's a way I can turn the chat on. Yeah, there's not. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Sorry, guys. For anyone who's tuning in, maybe like late, I'm doing this on my phone for the first time ever. And the reason I'm doing it on my phone is because this is the patron stream today and my internet is down. There's an internet outage in my area, so the internet's down everywhere. and which wouldn't be a big deal. I would just go out and enjoy my Saturday, maybe go for a jog or something, which I plan on doing after this. But I planned on doing the patron stream, and I still wanted to do it. So I was like, well, I'll try doing it from my phone. I've always wanted to try that anyway. So I'll just try it and see how it goes. And it's going weird. It's going fine, but it's going weird. I mean, I kind of like it, but I don't. The chat's not active, and I don't know how. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm sure there was just something I needed to turn on that I just didn't. So sorry about that. There's no chat. Sorry about that. I appreciate your patience and your understanding. So Nina, I feel ya, and thank you for addressing all of the angles of the universal broadband for all bill up in Canada. Please keep me posted on it. Again, in principle, definitely a good thing. In execution, probably leaves a bit to be desired, because a better way to go about it would be if they built the infrastructure themselves, the cities, and it was actual municipal broadband for all. And I'm feeling that right now, because guess what? The cable company where I'm at, they said that things might be back by 5. It might not be until 5 that for the entire area. So that's great. That's great. All right. So thank you, Nina. Thank you, Gene. George, what's up, buddy? George says, tell Uncle Joe to stop supporting the war in Yemen. I will text him as soon as we're done here. I will text Joe Biden, who I text with regularly, and I'll let him know. Be like, Joe, Yemen, no more. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Joe Biden, he said so himself, more of the same. And I think foreign policy-wise, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see more of the same. I mean, he already, there was that story Democracy Now! Did. He already is appointing the person who during the Obama administration justified separating families at the border. That he's already leaning on her. I believe it's a she. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So yeah, good luck with that. But I hear you, George. I wish you would. I wish anyone would. But I don't think we can count on that from Joe Biden, from good old Joe Biden. Let's see. Chris, what's up, buddy? Here's your question. This is a fun one. You and I had to write this down. So for anyone just tuning in, my internet is currently down, which is weird. My hotspot is not strong enough that I can stream the way I usually do, but it is strong enough to stream on my phone. So for the first time ever, I'm trying to stream on my phone, just in my kitchen. There's my booze. That's all mine. No, it's not mine. It's mine and my wife's. And she's quite the mixologist, by the way. I am not. I'm a very simple man in that regard. Sometimes I'm just like, I just want whiskey on the rocks. That's all I want. I just want that in my face right now. The first time I went to a speakeasy, I was so overwhelmed by it. It was the speakeasy in San Francisco. And it was really fancy pants Magoo, and I wasn't used to it. And I was with a friend of mine, and it was one of those, like, you had to wait for a table. And it was like these competitive mixologists that were like ranked in the world and shit. It was nuts. And I was there, and I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, whiskey ginger. And he's like, Ron, what the fuck? I was one step away from just being like, oh, a Miller Lite, please. But I'm like, dude, I'm just a simple man when it comes to this stuff, I guess. I'm sorry. And he's like, you're getting an old fashioned. And I was like, okay. And I like old fashions, don't get me wrong. But honestly, I'm just, if I was like on death row or something and they were like, you get one more drink, what do you want? I think I'd want either just a straight whiskey on the rocks, and I don't know. Maybe I'd want like a fancy Macmillan or something aged. I mean, sometimes less is more, and I'm that way, I guess, when it comes to booze. I'm that way when it comes to food. I mean, some of my favorite dishes have like 4 ingredients. You know what I mean? Sometimes like it's like, oh, this sauce is amazing. Yeah, it's 4 ingredients. Sometimes the best beer has 4 frickin' ingredients in it. Go over to Germany, they'll tell you. They have laws saying they can only have so many things in their beer. So, that's a thing, Sometimes less is more. Like a lot of times, like all these crazy mixed drinks, I'm just like they all taste the same to me. I'm like, oh, this tastes like a slushy with booze in it. That's what this frickin' tastes like to me. I'm not saying I don't like it. I like slushies, so it's good. But I'm like, I don't need this necessarily. I don't need it. It's fine, but I'd be fine with a whiskey ginger or just a whiskey on the rocks. I am a simple man. My wife knows how to make some fancy drinks, and I enjoy them. And I like it when she makes them. She made a gin fizz with some fresh rosemary that we got from our neighbors. Here's you guys. Some of you guys know that I live in the San Pedro area now. I moved recently, for personal reasons. It was related to my wife got a new job, but yeah, there's these community groups where they kind of are just like sharing stuff. That's like what they do. And so this one person had a bunch of rosemary that they grew, and so we got some rosemary, and we found our local community garden where we do our compost. And they don't take citrus. They're like, citrus takes too long to break down for us, so no citrus. So now I have 2 bags of compost in my freezer. One is citrus, one is not citrus, and the not citrus goes to my community garden. The citrus goes to my buddy Long Beach. It goes to him. He lives in Long Beach, and I take it to him. He gets my citrus now. And I feel better with the system. I feel better with the system. What else have I done since I've been here in San Pedro? By the way, sorry about the chat. For anyone just tuning in, the chat's not operating right now because for the first time, I'm doing this stream from my phone. The reason I'm doing this stream from my phone is because my internet is currently down and my hotspot is not strong enough to do my normal routine, but it is strong enough to do it from my phone. There's probably a box that I forgot to check, so there's no chat, and I'm sorry. This is the patron stream. The replay of the stream will only be available to the patrons where they'll be rewatching it and they'll be like, okay, we get it, dude. You fucked up the chat. You've mentioned it a billion times. And I'm like, well, it's because people, when I did this live, people were logging on. So I had to tell them, I hope you guys, I might be having more fun than you guys. I'm not sure. But, and I do apologize for no chat. I want to talk to you. I want to read your super chats, and I can't do that right now for this week's patron stream. I promise it'll be back to normal next week. Promise. But for right now, it's weird. And I like streaming on my phone. I like the dynamic on it. So I'm going to figure out how to have the chat. Baby steps, folks. Baby steps. Like, the next time I stream from my phone, the chat, I'm going to figure it out. And I'm gonna find out a way to make my walls even more white. So it... totally matches my complexion just fantastically. Just like, oh, look at me. I'm a guy who looks like he could probably use some more vitamin D. I live by the beach now. Still doesn't matter. I still look this way. Let's make sure these walls are white as possible. I could open up my blinds right now, and then they'll be like, Ron's a ghost. Ron just became a ghost. I'll open the blinds and you'll just see like my eyes and nothing else. It'll just be like, wow, that's frickin' Ron turned into Casper in front of our frickin' eyes. That's what would happen if I opened my blinds right now. Should I do it? Should I just do it? What if I just do it? Here, all right, we'll do it real quick. And because honestly, my cat wants the window open. I'm not gonna lie. Lucy wants the window open. Here we go. Check out how ridiculous I'm about to look. You ready for this? Look at this. All right, I'll just do the blinds, and then I'll lift it up too a little bit. There we go. Boom. Am I like Ghost Sack Magoo now? Actually, it's not as bad. It's not. I just did one of them, so it's not crazy. But yeah, now I'm just now like this side of my face is all bright, and this side is like I'm like the Batman villain. I'm like Two-Face. Like Harvey Dent. I'm gonna fix Gotham. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah. Lucy, that window's open now. You can go check it out. She's taking a nap. She's napping. It's Catterday. Happy Catterday. LucyandRon.com for my cat comic. Check it out. We got a lot of issues out. All right, Chris, getting back to your question. Chris, the establishment, you're worried that the establishment is building up President-elect Biden in order to have the Electoral College, you say, pick Trump in the hope that chaos ensues. What are my thoughts on this theory? I doubt it. As of right now, I doubt it. I don't think. I mean, I know Trump's challenging the results, and we've all been kind of keeping an eye on everything transpiring there. I have yet to see any concrete evidence that anything's going to be overturned. Now, hey, you want to do a recount? Go for it. Recount away. But I've not seen any concrete evidence that they would overturn the results. I mean, when you look at like Florida in 2000, for instance, that was a difference between about 500 votes. Literally, it was like 500 votes. In all the states they're looking at now, the margins are significantly higher than that. So yeah, I don't see that happening because I just don't see any. And if you want to say like, oh, the establishment wants this or that, I mean, I don't really see that either. I mean, I think as far as like they got what they wanted from Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you want to look at it from that lens, like they got what they wanted from Donald Trump. They got a big tax break that Joe Biden's probably not going to roll back. Maybe he will. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. They got 3 Supreme Court picks. He didn't start any new wars, but he didn't really, end any either. So they got what they want from Donald Trump. So I don't see it happening. Now, if something different comes to the surface, I'll look at it, sure. But as of right now, I don't see that. I don't see it happening. I've not seen any evidence, any concrete evidence saying that anything would be overturned. There just hasn't been any yet. Even the whole thing in Wisconsin where they were like, oh, there was more votes than voters in Wisconsin. The election board said, no, those numbers were from a couple years ago. Here's the amount of voters we have now, and the numbers were higher. So unless the election board was lying, which you would need evidence of that. You can't just say that because it makes you feel good. You would need evidence that they were. But unless they're lying, then that's that. That debunks that. It's like, no, those were numbers from 2 years ago, not numbers from today. Here's the numbers from today. Now, turnouts have been pretty high. I mean, when you look at it, like turnouts have been pretty high. So is that worth looking into? Sure. Yeah, totally. Look into it. Want to do a recount? Go for it. Recount away. I mean, I'm all for more transparency in our elections, not less. I'm all for, and no matter what, our election integrity, we have a lot of freaking problems. That was true before this election. That's true after this election. That was true for a very, very freaking long time. But as far as like, is there going to be some, smoking gun to overturn this thing? I think it's very unlikely unless things change significantly. Never say never. You never know. I mean, and obviously the Supreme Court would be favorable towards Donald Trump. So you never know. But as of right now, with what's available right now to us, I highly doubt it. There's been no evidence to overturn anything as of right now. So that's my thoughts on that. And yeah, and if you want to look at it from like the conspiratorial lens, like, oh, like the powers that be, like it's like, what do they have to worry about with a Joe Biden? Is the military industrial complex worried about a Joe Biden? Of course not. Is Wall Street worried about a Joe Biden? Of course not. I mean, so, I think I'd be a little more like open to, oh, they're going to try to take this thing and give it to Trump if it was Bernie. If it was Bernie right now. Because, yeah, I mean, I think that the powers that be would want to do everything they feasibly could to stop a Bernie Sanders presidency. But it's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden. I mean, this gets back to that thing that I was talking about the other day on the show. Like, if you're like a GOP style conservative, And I put that disclaimer there because not all conservatives are aligned with the GOP. A lot aren't, and I try to be fair. I try to be fair there. There's a big difference between classical conservatives and libertarians and the American GOP. Just like there is a big, big, big difference between leftists and the Democratic Party. There's a big difference there. So I try to be fair and recognize that there's a big difference on the other side too. I have my disagreements on issues with and on theories and what have you with libertarians and with classical conservatives. We definitely have our differences, but I recognize that a lot of them are not the American GOP. Just like I, as a leftist, am not the Democratic Party. So I try to be fair there. But that being said, like if you are a GOP style conservative, and so that's what I mean when I say that, I don't know how you're ever bummed out. You know what I mean? Like how are you ever like you have everybody? It's like well, it's like in the last sketch I dropped, the political party roommates, where Republican was like, well, now instead of the guy who's going to give my dad a tax break, I have to settle for the guy who's going to give my dad a tax break. It's like, what do you really? What do you really wear? How's Joe Biden? He's going to do all this. I mean, even his own words, nothing will fundamentally change. Joe Biden's words. So yeah, like they still got their guy with Joe Biden. So fun times. And he's already looking at horrible people for his cabinet. He's already promising more of the same. His COVID plan does not include relief to people, at least as of right now, it doesn't. So we'll see. But as far as them handing it, I mean, I don't think in the comment you left on my Patreon, you mentioned the Electoral College. I think that if it were to be handed to Trump, I think it would be a court decision. I think it would be like the Supreme Court or something like that. As of right now, I don't see that happening. Could that change? Sure, you never know. I mean, these days, never say frickin' never. Because, hell, who could have saw this coming? I mean, dude, back in the day Bernie dropped out, I said Trump just won re-election. And I firmly believed it, and most people did. Because none of us thought this was going to last, or at least I guess I shouldn't say none of us, but I certainly didn't. I didn't think the pandemic was going to last this long. I thought it'd be over come like summer, and it would just be a thing in the rearview mirror, and I thought there's no way Joe Biden beats Donald Trump. It's just not going to happen. Joe Biden, to beat Donald Trump, you need unlikely voters. You need people who are going to stay home otherwise, and you need to, get some, get some unconventional voters, and I just don't see Biden doing it. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, I think that definitely would have been the case, but the pandemic changed everything. Unlikely voters. There are people who showed up and voted for the first time. There are people who would not have voted otherwise who voted. A lot of young people showed up in droves. And there's a number of reasons for this, I think. I mean, first of all, the pandemic. The pandemic. That's huge. There's a lot of people who, it's funny. I saw people boasting about this where they're like, I haven't voted in 30 years, but this is a big thing. And I voted now for the first time in ever or in 30 years. And it's like, why are you bragging about that? You're basically saying, until something affects me personally, I can't be bothered to do the bare minimum. Now that something has affected me personally, now that I lost my job or whatever else because of this pandemic, I can be bothered to do the bare minimum. Go me! But anyway, so those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that. The pandemic, my point being, the pandemic changed everything. So we live in such an unprecedented moment that would anything surprise me? No, not really. Do I see something being overturned as of right now with what's available to us now? No, I don't. No, I don't. And, again, Rania Kalik tweeted this out this morning, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna take credit for it, but she made the parallel, Rania did, to some of the, some of the Trumpers who were like, oh, the election was stolen, the election was stolen. She made the comparison to, Russiagate 4 years ago. And there is a noteworthy comparison to be made there. 4 years ago, they started with a conclusion. The conclusion was the election was stolen from Hillary Clinton because of Russia. That was the conclusion they started with. And for 4 years, they arranged all of their data to support that conclusion. And that's when you're doing propaganda, by the way. When you start with a conclusion and you're not, like, no matter what data or information presents itself, that's your conclusion. Your conclusion, Russia stole the election for Trump. And you're going to, everything you find supports that conclusion. Well, we're seeing something similar happen now, where instead it's conclusion, the election was stolen from Donald Trump for Joe Biden. That's the conclusion. There's no evidence that indicates that as of now, but that's the conclusion. So you see people, everything that comes to the surface, they're putting towards that conclusion. And there's been like some people are claiming, someone claimed on Status Coup today that dead animals voted. So, yeah, that's a new one. Dead animals voted. Now, full disclaimer, my cat Lucy voted 10 times, but she's a living animal. So she voted 10 times, and she wrote in one of her comrades. Actually, she wrote one of her comrades in for president. It's not even a cat I know, to be honest with you. But she did vote 10 times. I don't know how she pulled it off. So I'm not going to say that the animal vote is non-existent. Lucy definitely made a dent. But how big of a dent, I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't seen the final results. But when you see those numbers, you might see a 0.05. And that's one of Lucy's comrades. And it might just say Lucy's comrade. She might just say comrade 12. I don't know. But, so I don't want to diminish the feline vote or the animal vote in general. But as far as animals who are no longer with us voting, I would need to see some evidence for that. I would need to see a bit of evidence there. I would need to see a little bit of evidence or a little bit of a smoking gun that hasn't pretty much been debunked. It's kind of like my buddy Jeffrey puts it best. He's just like, yeah, I don't have enough room in my tinfoil hat for everything. I can only fit so much stuff in there. So, yeah, Chris, as of right now, I doubt it. Never say never, because who the freak knows? Nothing. I'm at the point where nothing would shock me. Would things surprise me? Sure. But nothing would completely shock me. Not in the day and age we're living in. Because who could have seen this coming? If it wasn't for this pandemic, we would have had low turnout and Trump would have won. I believe that full-heartedly. But this pandemic, it changed everything. And, this administration mishandled it every way imaginable. And so, this is what happened. And you know what Trump did? You know what Trump really did that was in some ways an unintentional gift to the left. And I said this on election night. 4 years ago, Trump ran on this fake populism thing. I say fake populism because populism is actually left-wing. It's actually a left-wing thing. It's not a right-wing thing. Never was. And it's been co-opted. So like all these connections to racism and populism, that's all populism being hijacked, and it's a bunch of baloney. And you can read Thomas Frank's book. What's it called? The People Know. It's Thomas Frank's latest book. It's on the history of populism to really set the record straight on what populism actually was and still is. So it sets the record straight. So whenever you hear right-wing populism, that's fake. That's nonsense. That's like saying dry water. It makes no sense. Whenever someone says that when you speak highly of populism, you're calling for racism. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's the way it's been co-opted and corrupted by people like Donald Trump. It's fake. But anyway, 4 years ago, Donald Trump ran on this idea that he was a right-wing populist, and he was making all these promises in the heartland, and it was all a bunch of baloney, but people bought into it. Mostly because they were tired of being screwed over by the Beltway for so many years. They remember when the first Bush was in their lives and their lives didn't get any better. They remember when Clinton did NAFTA, didn't make their lives any better. They remembered when the second Bush didn't make their lives any better. They remembered when they took a chance on Obama and he didn't make their lives any better. So they were like, you know what? We need an outsider. Trump sold them this lie that he was that outsider. That's what happened in 2016. In 2020, Trump ran on, we gotta stop socialism. That's what Trump ran on. It didn't work. It didn't work. So what that's saying is when the Democratic establishment uses this fear like, oh, people are scared of socialism. If we run a Bernie Sanders, too many people will be scared away. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The messaging's not working because 70% of the country wants Medicare for all. 70% of the country wants something to be done about climate change. A majority of the country wants wages to be higher. So it ain't working. Donald Trump's attempt in 2020 was we got to stop socialism because if we have socialism, it'll be even worse. Now, the idea that Joe Biden's a socialist is beyond comical. That's absolutely ridiculous. But it goes to show you that right-wing fear-mongering doesn't work. It doesn't work. The fact that Joe Biden won is evidence of that. Because imagine, so it just goes to show, hey, you might as well support policies people actually want because they're going to smear you as the radical socialist anyway. They're going to do it no matter what. Joe Biden is right-wing. Joe Biden would be considered far right. Not even just right, far right in any other democratic in quotes, experiment. We know that. So the idea that, it's absolutely insane. The idea that they're calling someone like Joe Biden a socialist. So they're going to call you that no matter what. You might as well at least support policies people like. By the way, 26 out of 30 DSA endorsed candidates won. All the co-signers of a Green New Deal won. Everybody who embraced Medicare for all in red states won. Everybody who went against Medicare for all in blue states lost. And you know what? I'll say this, and after the election, I knew that my activity on that Monday was I was going to show up, well, virtually show up because it's all on Zoom, but I was going to show up to my neighborhood council meeting. Because I moved to a new area. You guys know that I was trying for a while to get municipal broadband in Pasadena. I was not successful. Now I live in a new area, and I'm going to try again. And I'm hoping to have more success, obviously. More successful than not successful at all. That's my goal. Baby steps, folks. Baby steps. But I showed up to it, and, my reason for bringing this up is I was going to do that no matter what happened in the frickin' White House, no matter what happened in the Senate, no matter what happened in the House. Like, that was my activity no matter what. And that fight started regardless. I showed up, and you know what, folks? I got to be honest with you. I'm hoping here because everybody knew what it was. I brought up municipal broadband, and all the neighborhood council knew what the hell I was talking about. That's a step higher than Pasadena. The mayor never quite understood what it was. I'm pretty sure, at least based on his comments, he didn't. And what bothered me a little bit was he had no interest in learning, and it was very clear he had no interest in learning. That was the problem. It's not that you didn't know what it was, it's that you had no interest in changing that because you didn't really want to offer it to people. But anyway, everyone in the neighborhood council knew what the hell I was talking about. Step up, right? Come on. I'll take the win. So for anyone tuning in recently, I am sorry there is no chat. I am doing this from my phone for the first time, and I screwed up the chat. The reason I'm doing it from my phone is because my internet is down. My internet is down, and my hotspot was not strong enough to do like a regular stream, but my hotspot was strong enough to stream from my phone. And I'm actually enjoying streaming. This is fun. As soon as I figure out the chat, I'll stream from my phone more often. which I'm sure is just a thing I need to check that I didn't. But as soon as I figure that out, I will. Patrons, I apologize that it's not quite the same as usual, and I apologize to everyone else as well. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate you guys tuning in anyway. It really means a lot. Nina, thank you so much for your contribution. Gene, thank you. George, thank you. Chris, thank you. Patrons, thank you so much. I cannot do this without you. Literally, my streams are demonetized all the time now. I can't monetize my streams anymore. So if it wasn't for the Patreon, this show will not be able to survive. So thank you so much. If you're catching this live and you're thinking, I might want to be a patron, you get all kinds of cool stuff. You get the replay of this stream. The replay of this stream is only available on Patreon. You get a patron Zoom show once a week, which my patron Zoom show is tomorrow. And you can get your own theme song. That's been a fun perk I've been doing. I've been making theme songs for my patrons. By the way, I make theme songs not just for you. Maybe you want a theme song for a loved one. Maybe makes a great holiday gift, does it not? That's all I'm saying. You could get a theme song for your loved one from me for this holiday season. Pretty cool holiday gift. Just saying. Patreon.com/, I'm pointing like my screen's behind me. It's not. It's just a bunch of booze. Ron plugged his Patreon, then pointed to vermouth. What a guy. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. It's a give what you can level. I know times are very tough right now, and if you don't have anything to spare, I totally get it. Do not put yourself in financial straits on my behalf. Please do not do that. But if you are on stable ground financially, if you got a little bit to spare that you won't miss, give what you can level. Even $1 or $2 a month goes a long way, and everyone gets all the same perks. No matter what level you give, no matter how much or how little it is, everyone gets all the same stuff. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. Let me make a theme song for you. Boom. Couple other quick announcements before we go. So tonight, which my internet better freaking get better. But tonight is my punk rock special. The online radio network Modern Retro Radio contacted me about doing a punk rock special focusing on music that has been released within the past 5 years. So I've done that. I curated a special. It's mostly in punk rock. I used a broad umbrella. And in this punk rock special, there is some anti-folk music. There is folk punk. There is some ska punk, some third wave revival. There is some 77 anthem punk. There's some just general pop punk. There's some more hardcore inspired punk rock music. There's a lot of politically charged stuff. There's some anarcho punk. So I used it. It's a broad umbrella these days, and I embraced it as such. But I'm really happy with the mix I put together, and I hope you all will listen. It airs tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on modernretroradio.com. Just go to modernretroradio.com, tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and listen to my special. I'm really proud of what I curated. I think you're all going to love it. And afterwards, I'm going to do a little Zoom if you want to hang out and talk the special. If you're interested in attending that, go to ronplacone.com and email me. I'm not going to share that Zoom link publicly, but I am going to share it. Patrons, I am going to drop it on the Patreon. So if you're a patron and you're watching this as a patron, I will be dropping that on the Patreon. So you'll be able to see it. You'll get the Zoom link. Everybody else who might not be a patron, just email me, ronplacone.com, and when that Zoom link is available, I will email it to you. Just say you want that Zoom link. So that's happening tonight. November 21st, what's happening? Graham Elwood and myself are doing what will likely be our last big Zoom show of the year. We've been doing a lot of Zoom shows of this year to make up for the fact that we're not touring. It sucks not being able to tour. It breaks my heart. You guys know this. It is breaking my heart in two. But we're dealing with it, and we're doing Zoom shows, and the Zoom shows have been a lot of fun. It's not quite the same as being there live with y'all, but it's better than nothing, and we're making the most with what we have. So what will likely be our last Zoom show of the year is happening November 21st. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I had new math there in my head. That was brutal. But 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, over on Zoom. What you do is you Venmo Graham $10. His Venmo is just Graham-Elwood. Venmo him $10. Make sure you tell him you want tickets to the Zoom show, like it's for the Zoom show on November 21st, and he will send you the Zoom link over Venmo shortly before the show starts on November 21st. I hope to see you all there. That's going to be a blast. Thank you guys so much for your understanding and your patience. We are at 99 likes. Let's see. Give me one more like, folks. Come on. Give me one more. Let me see 100. Let me see 100 likes, please. Just give me one more. Something. Yeah! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I'm sorry about the chat. Again, if you're just, I'm sorry there was not a chat today. It's because for the first time ever, I'm doing it from my phone because my internet is down. Yeah, and my internet isn't back yet, but my hotspot was strong enough to stream from my phone. And it's kind of fun. I like doing it from my phone. I just feel a little more like, just feels more chill. I don't know why. Like I don't have the headphones. I don't have the screen, and instead there's booze. This is kind of, I might start doing this all the time. Maybe. We'll see. I just got to figure out the chat. I fucked that up this week. And this is, again, this is the patron stream. The replay of the stream is only available on Patreon. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you're not a member, Patreon.com/Ron Placone. I cannot monetize my streams anymore. I don't know what happened, but I cannot monetize my streams anymore. So without your patronage, this show would not exist. So if you got a little bit to spare, you want a bunch of cool perks, including your own theme song, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Give what you can level. One more time, thank you, Nina, for your for bringing up the Universal Broadband for All up in Canada, and I look forward to you keeping us posted on that story as it unrolls. So thank you for that, Nina. Thank you, Gene, for your thoughts as well. Your thoughts to Nina, which Nina responded and said, well, the problem here is that they're just giving it to the commercial entities. So what if they kind of screw us? So again, it's good they're doing universal broadband. That's good. But the execution, a little less than ideal. It's still good it's happening because it's going to connect everybody, and that's huge. But, the big solution is we need Muni Broadband for All. But thank you for that. George, thank you for your thoughts, as always. And Chris, thank you so much for your thoughts, too. Thank you guys so much. You make this show possible. Without your patronage, I cannot do that, especially these days. This show would not exist if it wasn't for you all. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I hope you'll listen to my special tonight. Again, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on modernretroradio.com. Tune in. You can also, on November 21st, last big Zoom show of the year with myself and Graham Elwood, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. For tickets for that, just Venmo, Graham-Elwood, $10. And in the meantime, y'all know the drill. Lucy, she's over there. And she says, meow. And I say peace. Peace. Here's me awkwardly ending this